All right, you should have the target in your sights now.
Looks like about an 82% match at the bar.
Come on, you've got to take this more seriously. If we don't get those codes, we're looking at World War III.
What exactly are we after?
He has some highly classified codes on his phone. They get in the hands of the wrong person, we're looking at World War III.
Target is in motion.
Do you have your CIA-issued weapon?
I had to improvise.
What are you talking about? What do you have? I'd really like to avoid a third world war if we can.
It's the Beastie Boys book.
Ooh, tough break. I think he prefers Run DMC.
I'm going for it.
World War III?
Forgot my silly straw. What do you want?
You can't have these codes.
Coupon codes? You're not getting $2.50 off a burrito bowl on my watch. Self-destruct.
Guess I'm having pizza tonight. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Tavern Talk. I am Philip, and joining me this week is Christian Leus. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Christian is a graphic designer, is that correct? With the Arkansas Cinema Society, which obviously we love around here. But what brought you to them, or what brought you to film? Have you been a big movie fan for a long time? Give us a little bit of context.
Yeah,
I guess.
pretty long time. So I majored in film studies in college and started doing criticism and theory stuff. And now I'm a documentarian. I do help with
awesome.
documentary projects. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but yeah, pretty deep in film.
Very cool then. Yeah. No, I mean, I told you right before we started filming, I live in Hot Springs, so I love to try to be as much a part of the documentary film festival.
Yeah, I've worked for them before.
Okay, so I was going to say, I've probably crossed paths at some point, but no, thank you for taking the time to be here today. We're talking about The 355, which is a new kind of thriller action movie from director Simon Kinberg. This is his second directorial feature, following up X-Men Dark Phoenix, which, if you saw that, probably, not too high of expectations there. And but then you get, we were talking a little bit about it before, you have the cast. And
right.
You have Jessica Chastain and Lupita Nyong'o, Diane Kruger, Penélope Cruz.
Yeah, Bingbing Fan.
Yeah. And so it was like, and I wasn't familiar too much with her work prior to seeing her in this and kind of reading up about her. But I was like, oh, okay, so there's an interesting mix of this could be really cool because it's an interesting concept.
Right.
Or, Kinberg didn't really give me a lot of hope with his last movie, so like, what are we getting here? But the kind of bit here on the show is just walked out of the theater, just saw it. What was your initial reaction to The 355?
I really actually liked it.
Okay.
I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Maybe my expectations were low because of, like you say, director and not,
Right.
not the best sort of past work. But I think that I really liked it. It was a really fun, popcorn, action movie.
Yeah.
It felt like really refreshing in terms of especially with the pandemic, and I feel like a lot of movies that at least I've been seeing lately have been, more heavier stuff. And so it felt really refreshing it felt like, going to the movies and having a good time. And I thought that it was, written pretty well, paced pretty well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
That's true, because I did think it gets right into the action, it sets up everything, all the character dynamics you want it to set up, and or at least well enough to where where the story's going. And even though the story is kind of a familiar, I don't know, it felt like kind of a throwback to one of those 90s action movies, based on a Tom Clancy thriller or something like that.
Yeah.
That was the vibes I got early on,
Yeah.
especially with the opening sequence. And should say, I guess, Edgar Ramirez and Sebastian Stan, and there are a couple other people in this to add to that cast list earlier. But yeah, like I was like, okay, and it does. It feels like one of those where you just like walk in and it's like, yeah, this is what it feels like to be at a movie theater.
Yeah,
and this is nice, and I like this because I agree. Like the past couple months, you get those heavy Oscar dramas and things like that. So it was definitely refreshing, but it came down to Kinberg's execution of it for me, and I just like, even though it was like the story was well done, well structured, and the acting is obviously like you got a really charismatic cast there. And I liked, some performances more than others, and we can talk about that a little bit. But I just overall, I was like, it just like what it could have been versus what it ended up feeling like. It just kind of felt like some of the action scenes were more cheap than they should have because it obviously looks really expensive. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know. I just wish it was executed in a way that felt like it lived up to what it wanted to be instead of. I don't know. I guess the best way to sum it up is I told one guy I was talking to about it after I saw it was it felt more like I wanted it to be like a comfort food viewing, and it felt more like junk food. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So I don't know, but like character-wise, or what else did you feel like that really like stood out to you and made you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I get what you're saying in terms of like some of like the style was a little like one of the things that I noticed when I first started watching it is that like something about like the lighting or how it was colored, like the saturation was like at like 150% or something, and I was like, wow, they're really going for it for something here. And there were like a couple moments of that where I was like, it's maybe a little bit more like style over substance in a certain way, which is not necessarily
for
a bad
sure
thing.
But
but the more I watched it, I felt that like the characters were actually pretty well structured. I thought like I actually found myself like when they were in danger or in peril, as they frequently are, right, I was like actually concerned, and I was like actually kind of in the moment with the action, and kind of forgot about lots of like close-ups and lots of like handheld camera work that I was like, okay,
yeah, but it's the Jason Bourne producers and
everything.
Yeah. They're like, do more green grass. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying, because there are like little character moments in between, and these actors, like, it's a lot of like award-worthy or award-nominated actors in there, and you get these little moments between like Chastain and Sebastian Stan, and it's like, oh, this is good. Or I thought Diane Kruger stood out to me. She's kind of like this lone wolf figure who doesn't trust anybody, and kind of has that whole character arc, and I thought she played to that really well. And I've liked she has, I don't know if I kind of feel like she's been underappreciated over the years, and she's done some foreign films and such, but like I just thought she like really kind of understood what they were going for here and kind of nailed it. But the same, like Lupita Nyong'o is always reliable, really solid, and Penélope Cruz she was actually in this more than I thought she was going to be.
Yeah, I also like when they introduced her character, she's like she's never in the field, like, right? It's not her like scene, and then she's in it for pretty much the whole movie.
I thought she was going to be like the dude in the chair,
right?
That was going to be her role in this movie. And but I liked a lot of the character moments, but then the direction just felt like, I don't know, it just felt kind of bland. Like this is how I've seen this done 1,000 times before, right? And we're gonna do it. And I just felt like you could see somebody like a stunt coordinator or whatever saying, okay, you're gonna punch in this direction, and like in a take you could just see him going like, and then it cut, and that was like it. And so that's why the action kind of felt, I don't know, just like, I don't want to say second rate, because it looks really good and cool, and you can tell it's done by people who know what they're doing, but at the same time it was just kind of like, we've seen this all before. Yeah,
but I feel like, like you were saying about like comfort food versus junk food.
Yeah.
I don't know, just like I think a great metaphor. But I think, I don't know, to me it felt more like comfort food. Yeah. Like kind of because of that stuff, it was like, it was predictable in a sense, but not predictable in a way that I like really minded in that way. I was like, oh, this is familiar territory, right? Like I feel like I have kind of seen this before. It's definitely not like reinventing the wheel or anything.
No, yeah. And I didn't expect that either. Right, just like, I mean, I like I said, I went in with mixed expectations, mixed to lower probably, but no, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I think that it really worked for me in that way, especially like the way that the story is structured, I think was like it didn't try to like pull any like big twists, that it didn't like signpost, it didn't try to be smarter than the audience, it didn't try to like, you know, prove how, you know, new or edgy it was. It was just like, here's a story, you know, we have these people, these agents, they have to get a thing, you know, they're going to fight some people, there's going to be some car chases, you know. Yeah,
well, and I was glad that like this is clearly a movie like you know, that casts strong, powerful women in the main roles and makes a point of it being about this team of women who are good at their jobs and going to, you know, take advantage of their roles as women in society to excel in these situations. It was kind of similar to, I don't know if you saw Widows, the Steve McQueen movie. Like, I got kind of similar vibes to that as far as like methodology of what these characters were doing. But at the same time, and I thought that was cool in the concept of like the name, it being named after George Washington's like first female spy during the Revolution and stuff, and it being women from different countries around the world. Like I thought all that was really neat and great premise, but yeah, I just wish it had paid off a little more. But what did you think that like messaging was too overt, or did you think it was you know, like good enough for what they were obviously trying to make that point, and no one's trying to hide that, but how did you think that was executed?
That was like part of why I think my expectations were low going in, because I was like, oh, it's a movie about women, oh my god, like, you know, I feel like a lot of times, you know, and I feel like it's like Widows and that movie with Charlize Theron, Atomic Blonde, I think it was called. I feel like there's been like a sort of a trend recently of like, we're going to make action movies, but we're going to put women in you know, the star role. And that can kind of feel kind of didactic a lot of times, I think. It's like, you know, like you said, like too overt or like too on the nose, and it kind of flattens those characters. But I actually like ended up really liking the characters that they built of, you know, among all these women in the film more than I thought I would. And I think a lot of that was, I mean, like you mentioned, like the performances I think were really, really good in a lot of instances. I did like a lot of those, yeah. And also I think even though, you know, all of the, you know, it's secret agents, right? They all fight and, you know, are in the field. But I think like all of the connections, the personal, emotional connections that they, you know, build with each other in the film, and then have, you know, all these like side characters and background characters to sort of like ground them and humanize them, I thought actually worked really well. And I was, you know, it allowed me to forget that I was like watching a film that was like, you know, we're going to do this kind of gimmicky thing of putting all of these women together and, you know, in a secret agent movie.
Points for that for sure. I also liked that, you know, given it's Simon Kinberg, he's been involved with a lot of like comic book universes and stuff like that. I liked that this did feel like a complete story. It's obviously like open to like future films.
Oh, for sure.
But like that wasn't the main objective. And I appreciated that it like was able to just focus on what it was doing in the moment instead of just constantly like looking towards the future, which I feel like, you know, happens a lot these days. So.
Yeah, I felt like after I got done watching it, I like checked the time and I was like, oh wow, like the runtime is like a little over 2 hours. It's just like longer than it felt. Like I feel like the pacing was in terms of like, you know, structuring where the action scenes went and having like beats of downtime and, you know, setting up goals for the characters and having them meet them or not. Like I feel like it was really well structured in that way to where it feels it keeps you interested the whole time. Yeah,
that is like I said, I really do think the direction is the main weakness here, because like it is like if you got a script playbook, it follows that outline really well and does what it is supposed to do, like, or does what it needs to do to accomplish what it wants to accomplish. I just wish it would have, you know, like I said, been executed a little bit better, not necessarily more stylish because it does have style, but you know, I don't know. I guess it just would have had a little more of a unique touch to it than we ended up with. But no, is there anything else that you wanted to touch on specifically about it?
Nothing I can think of.
No. Well, what we do here on Tavern Talk is we usually rate our initial reaction rating out of 5 stars. So, you know, we obviously might think about it a little more, you know, ruminate on it a little bit. But as far as like initial reaction, what would your out of 5 star rating be for a 555?
Probably 4.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
I had a great time.
I feel terrible right now.
What's yours?
I was probably going to go 2.
Wow.
I
Maybe
know.
I'm easily pleased. I don't know.
I feel really bad. You know what? We'll go 2.5 right down the middle. We'll go right down the middle because like I do feel like it does keep the action coming at a like consistency that if you're here for that and that alone, like you're going to be entertained. If you're here for the kind of like that Tom Clancy-ish spy story, you're going to be entertained. And like we said, it does have style. It's just like, it's right down the middle. It's exactly what you expect it to be. If you watch the trailer and was like, yeah, that's for me, then you're probably going to get what you want. So, and if you're near a movie tavern, definitely check out the 355 at a one near you. I want to thank them for letting us shoot the show in here, seeing the movie here. And thank you, Christian, for joining us, taking the time to do this. I really appreciate it.
Of course. So fun.
And is there anywhere we can like check out work, any links or anything, or just follow ACS, or what would you say?
Follow ACS, Arkansas Cinema Society, on Twitter and Instagram. Our website is arkansascinemasociety.org. And you can check out all of our upcoming events and everything that we do.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much. Thank you to you guys for watching. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, all that good stuff. Your likes help, more people see these videos. So thank you for doing that, and we'll see you next time. Peace. They get in the wrong hands, they could start World War III. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? What do you have? I'd really like to avoid World War... What are you talking about? What do you have? I'd really like to avoid World War III if we can.
It's hard for you to say, isn't it?